Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Mary and I love bird watching. I have a brand new, freshly finished sketchbook tour to show you. This is my Mossery mixed media sketchbook. I got it with the sort of gray marbled cover and personalized with just a saying, "Get her done." However, despite my well wishes for how fast I wanted to finish this one, it actually took me a little while. I started it in June of 2017 and just finished it today, which is March 7th, 2018. I liked this sketchbook okay. I don't think I will purchase another one of these. The factor contributing mostly to my reluctance to get a new Mossery sketchbook is that shipping to Canada is expensive and the exchange rate is really bad. I wanted to try it out, but I would rather stick with something that I can buy in stores for cheaper. It came with all these extra pages for like planning and note-taking and stuff, and I didn't use them, so I took them out of the book and recycled them. But I'll show you some of the things that I was working on in this book. I found that the paper wasn't exactly double-sided, so not every page has paintings on it. But this first page here, I just did a master study of a Waterhouse painting of Cleopatra. I love this painting a lot, and I'm also really happy with how like the sort of pink undertone and underpainting of this. I did the underpainting in like this like muted cadmium red goes with this page here. So I think the spread is really nice. Here is a skull that I did as a demo at an art store. And I got a set of the Kuretake Gansai Tambi Starry Colors pigments, and I just swatched them here. I haven't really used them for anything, but I saw someone else on YouTube had them, and I just really wanted them, so now I have them. Here I was testing out what the back side of the paper was like in terms of texture. It was okay for like one layer I found, and this is with gouache, but I wasn't really a fan of it. It was a little too hot press, which if you're not meaning to be hot press and then it gets sort of a hot press texture, sometimes it's just not the best to paint on, at least for me. Here's a painting of a duck I did from life, and this one I quite like because it's very simplified, just a couple, like one wash basically, and letting the colors bleed into one another. I did these with some of my watercolors that I got from Pfeiffer Art Supply, and they're really beautiful. I did this one with the Pfeiffer Art Supply watercolors as well, just a painting of a house at the historical village in my city, and I really like how this sort of really quick shorthand of the reflected light from underneath the roof plays off of here, but I think this one, to be believable, would need more detail because it is kind of an odd building because it's all white except for the lines, so it looks sort of like a cartoon even in real life. Here's that painting I did for Smogist, the dragon hashtag back in August. I got a shipment of handmade watercolors from Jasper Stardust, and it came from Israel, so I kept the envelope because I thought that was a really neat place for it to come from. I was wondering why it took so long to mail, but it made sense. Here is a painting of some deadfall that I did from life this past summer at Little Jumping Pound, which is a river, basically a river with surrounding forests, so there's tons of deadfall just in the edges of the river. And this is from the same day and same location, and so is this one. This is from another day. I just cut it out and stuck it on this side of the paper. And then a little while later I went painting outdoors at Nose Hill Park in my city. Did some paintings of some rocks. That's kind of what I woke up feeling like I wanted to paint, and so I did. And this one here is actually available as a print on my Etsy shop. Same with this one. So if you wanted prints of these, I did a limited run, very limited run of 5 prints each, and I will leave a link in the description box to my Etsy store if you're interested in owning a print of one of these paintings. Here I was just sort of playing around with getting my watercolors to bleed into one another and stuff like that. Same here, I did like a splotch and then I finished the drawing on top of it. Here's a painting of a brown-headed cowbird, just a scientific specimen. And I think this one turned out really nice. I got some good feedback from an instructor of mine whose suggestion was to add these little tiny hints of red onto the black to make it pop and make it rich. Moving into fall now, I did this painting really loosely of a tree in fall colors reflected on a pond. This is a lot more loose and sketchy and abstracted than I normally do my paintings, but I really like the yellow tones, and that was what this painting was about. Here is a painting of a black bear skull, and it's just resting on some brown paper. I think that the paper adds a lot of interest to the painting, and I'm glad that I thought to add that. It makes it more into a still life than just a plain study on a white background. Here's the painting I did at Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump, and I took a little art video vlog of this process. You can also buy this one on my Etsy store as a print. Couple of dinosaurs coming up from the Royal Tyrrell Museum. These are just pencil and really quick watercolor. This is a Dromaeosaurus albertensis mount, and it's one of my favorite dinosaurs of all time. I love the shape of their head, and I love that they're found locally to me. Like, I live near the Cretaceous strata where they uncover these fossils, so I definitely have a soft spot for dromaeosaurs. We are skipping forward in time a lot. I took a big break in this sketchbook from December to January. I didn't paint anything in here. I was just drawing in my other sketchbook, which I uploaded quite recently. My mental health wasn't the greatest, so I think that contributed to how much or how little I felt like painting. But eventually I got back into it, and I did this little sort of design of a rabbit in the snow with a gray sky. This is what winter looks like quite a lot of the time, especially in January and February. Just tons of snow and really gray where I live. Just some color swatches to get used to painting in this paper again. And this was a pen and ink test of a style that I was thinking of using for a project, but I don't quite like this. It's not there yet. I'm going to keep working on it and find a style and technique that works for me. There's just a few more color swatches. I realized that I hadn't done my usual like full swatch of all my watercolors in this book, so I just did it halfway through. And then recently I got a couple of pans of watercolor paint from the Stoneground Paint Co., which is a Canadian company, and they're sold at a local stationery store, like a boutique style stationery store, and I've been really enjoying them. I especially like the Bone Black, and this is just a painting I did of a coyote in that Bone Black, and I just really like how it acts, and I used it for these paintings done at the museum as well when I went there at the beginning of March, on March 1st. So this is a Gorgosaurus, and then I also did a Chasmosaurus, and those are both with the Bone Black. So I think that's kind of like funny and thematic that I use the Bone Black to paint bones because it's made from bones. On the same day that we went to that museum, we also saw some birds on our drive over, and I just thought it would be nice to like do an illustrated documentation of the birds we saw, because I was driving and I couldn't take photographs, of course, so I thought this would be a cute way to just have a record of what we saw that day. Seeing the eagle was really interesting because they only really come down to the prairies in the winter here. So it's always nice to spot them on the roadside. And here's just a monochromatic painting with alizarin crimson. I looked at this color one day and I was like, oh, I love this. I'm gonna paint with this. I've had it for forever, but I've never really done anything with it. So did this page here and doing a little bit of a research study / sketch of 18th century women's clothing. This is just a really quick painting of Jupiter. I did the planet with watercolor, but then I blocked in the background with gouache. Not sure about the color choices here, but it's cute. And then this page here, I was doing swatches of some of my more interesting watercolors and like my multi-pigment watercolors. So we have Moonglow, Cascade Green, Serpentine Genuine. These are all from Daniel Smith. And then the German Greenish Raw Umber and the Azo Green, these are M. Graham. And the Quinn Gold is from Winsor & Newton, and it's not pure Quinn Gold, it's a mixture, but I really like the mixture. I like how it's this really intense sort of orange oxide color, and then it opens up into this really pale yellow. I was looking for something for my Halskaraptor painting, and I ended up going with this Cascade Green, but I wanted to paint with the Moonglow as well, so I did this little sketch of a chanfron, which is like a faceplate for a horse. And you can see how it splits up into its different pigments in the washes. So the Moonglow is a Viridian, an Ultramarine, and Anthraquinone Red. So you can kind of see where it splits a little more green or more blue or more red. And it's really nice to do a monochromatic painting with one tube of watercolor that in the end ends up not being that monochromatic because it's made of different pigments. And today the very last painting that I did in here is just a study of a woman in a sweater. I found this photo on unsplash.com, so that's a free stock photo website, because I bought a tube of Mayan Blue Genuine from Daniel Smith and I just wanted to try it out and see how I liked it. It's a really transparent color, but it's got a really beautiful hue and lots of granulation. It kind of reminds me of those blue whale gummies, like the candy. It's a really nice color, and I definitely think it works better with lots of water in it, like using it very transparently. So I think I learned a lot from doing this tiny study. And that's it. That's the whole sketchbook. If there's anything you'd like to hear me talk about, just let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this sketchbook tour, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!